Here we are, live again. It is July 17th. Don't have a lot of talk. Don't have a lot to talk about. So I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. So let's jump right into it. Okay. All right. We have the double feature here: Cobra and Tango and Cash. Let's talk about Tango and Cash first. So Tango and Cash was a late 80s, early 90s. Let's see the year here. I believe it was 1980. Oh, I'm sorry. 1989. Cobra was 1986. So both these movies, I mean, make a great double feature. A, they both have Sylvester Stallone. B, they're both action cheese fests. Now, were they cheese fests at the time? Whether they came out, I don't know. But now, total cheese fest. I think Cobra might have even been a Cannon film. If you're not familiar with Cannon films, they're known for being really cheesy. But that's what I like. That's where I thrive. That's what I want to make. Anyway, Tango and Cash. It's a buddy cop movie with Sylvester Stallone and why is his name escaping me? He's such a popular guy. Snake Plissken. Jeez, I feel stupid. Kurt Russell. Oh my God, it's early, guys. Kurt Russell, Sylvester Stallone, buddy cop movie. They get wrongly accused, or they get a murder gets pinned on them that they didn't do, and they get put in prison, and they have to bust out of jail and then find the guy who put them there. And it's, well, I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it. They got a lot of cool toys to play with, a lot of cool cop gear. The end of the movie, they get this cool assault tank. I would say rivals the urban assault vehicle from Stripes. I'd like to see a team up of those two vehicles. A lot of action, a lot of fighting, a lot of hand-to-hand combat, gunplay, things like that. Tango and Cash, fun movie, kind of cheesy. Terry Hatcher's in it. She's smoking hot. And Jack Palance plays a great villain. I've always liked him. I always thought he was just creepy. He's an old Western star and appears a lot. Anyway, Tango and Cash. Cobra. So Cobra is a rogue cop movie with Sylvester Stallone. His last name's Cobretti. I can't remember his first name, his character name. Oh, I don't know. Cobra is a canon movie. Anyway, directed by George P. Cosmatos. I could be saying his name wrong. Same guy that directed Rambo. Makes sense. He liked the actor. His kind of banter. Anyway, Cobra's like this cop you call in when there's nowhere else to go. The movie starts out in this supermarket, and there's this terrorist taking over, and nothing's working out for the police, so they call in the Cobra to fix it. And he drives this really cool car, and he doesn't have a lot of weapons, but it kind of makes him cooler. He's got this just kind of basic handgun. He keeps a matchstick in his mouth, and he's a badass. Cobra. Check it out if you haven't seen either of these. All right, let's move on. So, where do you go next? So let's actually talk about both these. I watched Rambo 1, Rambo 2, First Blood, and then Rambo First Blood Part 2. Well, let's start at the beginning. So, First Blood is the story of John Rambo. John Rambo is a Vietnam veteran, unfortunately suffering from shell shock, PTSD. He returns home, and things aren't going his way, and everybody in town hates him. And the police system, I guess you want to say, is just being a little rough on him, and he lashes out. Is it because he feels he was wronged and he has to make it right, or a little bit of the PTSD, or a little bit of both? John Dennehy plays the lead police officer that's kind of against Rambo, and it ends up in the woods, and they try to track him down, and he's Rambo, so he's hard to find. So the police force is huge, and then Rambo's one guy, and he takes them all on. And if you haven't seen this yet, I don't want to give too much away, but it's interesting to see how much he gets away with. So this is a DVD slipcover. So You know what's funny about slipcovers? No one gave a crap about them when they were on DVDs. It was just like, yeah, whatever. And slipcovers are definitely stupid in general, but I think they're even more dumb when it's the same art. You know, what's the point of that? But it came with it. So I don't know what release there's a million and one releases of this movie, but great movie if you've never seen First Blood. So where do you go after First Blood? First Blood Part 2. First Blood Part 2 again tracks John Rambo. This time he's sent on an away mission back to Vietnam to take some pictures of a concentration camp. But Rambo, that's just not good enough for him. He discovers that there are POWs there and he busts them out. Much to Charles Napier's dismay, because that was not the mission. And Charles Napier is working for the government. You can tell that's not what was supposed to happen. And, you know, the end of the movie ends with a battle between Charles Napier and John Rambo. But this one is action packed. Over the years, First Bloods became my favorite, but for the longest time, this was my favorite of the series. I mean, it is just, for its time, there was nothing like it. I mean, explosions, hand-to-hand combat, knife combat, grenades, machine guns, and it's, again, a one-man army movie, and those were really popular in the 80s. They made other ones with, like, Dolph Lundgren, I think one of them, he's in, it's called Army of One. So anyway, First Blood Part 2. Dropped one, excuse me. So this is a DVD compilation of Parenthood, Great Outdoors, and Harry the Hendersons. I've seen all three movies about 100 times a piece, but I only watched Parenthood this time around, so we'll talk about that. So Parenthood is a Ron Howard film. If you're not familiar with him, Cocoon, Willow. He was on Happy Days. Started out with Roger Corman. Great director. Parenthood tracks a couple of different families. The main one they focus on, I believe, is Steve Martin's family. And it's just relevant to things that everyday people face, you know, fighting with your exes, divorce, trouble in the bedroom, trouble with your kids, money problems. And the thing is, they make it funny. You know, there's a lot of humor in here. Rick Moranis is in it. He's always comical. He doesn't, you know, he's not really the comic relief in this movie, though. He's more of a straight edge kind of guy, and you know, kind of a different role for him now that I think about it. It's loaded with stars: Jason Robards, Mary Steenburgen, Joaquin Phoenix in a young role, and that's kind of why we watched it last week. Sushi was on the show, and we were talking about Joaquin Phoenix, and we were reviewing a movie with him. And I said, "Hey, did you know he was a child star?" And she didn't know, and she said that she couldn't recognize him as a child. But I mean, I've been watching him since he was a kid, so I can see it. But anyway, Parenthood, if you haven't seen it, check it out. All right, moving on. So this you probably haven't seen or heard of. Very small amount of these. This is Hinkley Hills, the documentary. So this is a fan-made documentary from my friend in Canada, Darlene Freidenbaum. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. And this is a really cool documentary about the Burbs and the Burbs fans. And I'm lucky enough to be a part of it. And I wasn't expecting, I knew she was making it, but she just sent me a copy out of the blue. And she lives in Canada. So, I mean, it's expensive to send stuff, you know, to other countries. But I watched this. It's a lot of fun. You know, just hearing from the fans and what they had to say, you know, why they like the movie, what their favorite characters are. And she's on Instagram and Facebook if you want to hit her up, Darlene. Really fun documentary, you know, made by fans for fans. Hit her up if you want to check it out. Okay, last but not least. So this has been on my watch list for about a year. I didn't make it to it, and we're actually going to talk about this thing. So this is Dinocroc. I don't think it's streaming. I think there's like a Dinocroc versus Replicator or something. So this is a Roger Corman film, and I want to watch it, and it just keeps ended up on the bottom of the pile. So if you've seen this, let me know about it. Tell me why I should watch it. You know, it's not that I don't plan to. It just things keep happening and I don't get to it. But it was in the picture that I took a little screenshot of, so I had to at least show it up. So one more thing, actually, last but not least, good friend Bob Glazier let me borrow this. So these are terror cards, and if you remember last week, I was showing you the new terror card that Sushi got to be a part of, well, that both of us got to be a part of, rather. So this is the original set of tarot cards, which is awesome. And Bob had this, and he wanted to let me borrow it. I don't even know if I can show too many. Some of them are really gory, but you'll get a taste there. And Bob actually has one. He has his own tarot card. There it is right there, which is really cool. So this is the original set. I mean, there's, oh, I don't know, 20 or 30 of these things. And they're really interesting. I mean, they got to be super rare. I can't imagine there are a whole lot of these things are floating around. Man, he's got Brink Stevens, Debbie Rashawn. I mean, Tina Kraus. He's got some heavy hitters in there. He's got them signed. These are really cool. So, Previn Wong, the guy who runs the deal, I think he mainly concentrates on digital cards at this point. But he does make an occasional card, like he made that Kiss card for Sushi, which was really cool. So keep an eye out. Hit him up if you're interested in that or any other cards. He's got a lot for sale. Anyway, that's it. Signing off. We'll see you next week.